pick like one team or one moment in college basketball that really is like the biggest what if that we could think of for the week, Meyer, who'd you have and why?
Yeah, I want to go with another school that 19.9 just released a little over a week ago, Oklahoma 88. And this goes in kind of with my theme of the week, just fun. Like, this is the most fun time of the year. This team with Billy Tubbs, you got Mookie Blaylock on this team, Stacey King, who I still love on the Bulls broadcast. I've got League Pass, and if you tune into the Bulls broadcast, he's so much fun on there. Like, he just is the embodiment of what this team is. Like, 102 points a game. They're running up and down. They're like even almost a precursor or right in with all those teams that you love, Josh, with Arkansas and those Kentucky teams like scrambling all over the court. And they didn't get to that. That's what stinks, is they didn't get over the hump. And I don't think they're remembered like they should be, because they ran into Danny and the Miracles in the championship game.
Who they?
And they beat them. They had
beaten 3 times that year.
Yeah,
they beat.
I think they beat
3 times.
And this would have been the 4th time. And the thing is, it's just the script is just like that. The Georgetown team that was incredible that loses to Villanova, or the Houston team. And it's just like they shoot 64% in the second half of that game, and it just everything's going in. And they didn't play a bad game, but they were a little off from where they were. And an incredible season, 3 losses, 35 wins, comes to an end. But I absolutely love this team. Mookie Blaylock, one of the best names in college basketball ever.
Mookie
ended up becoming Pearl Jam's, the name of Pearl Jam. Before they were Pearl Jam, they were called Mookie Blaylock. So little fun fact. And their first album, of course, 10, that's Mookie's number. So little factoids there for you guys.
Now that's research right there, Matt.
That's right. I'm bringing it.
I think it's interesting, the Oklahoma team, because of Billy Tubbs, and so if he gets that natty, what does that do to Billy Tubbs' legacy? Because you don't hear a lot of Billy Tubbs chatter in college basketball world, but he is a legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, at least you mentioned John Thompson, or you mentioned John Thompson's team. At least John Thompson has one in 84, right? So that 85 didn't keep him, because I think people would view John Thompson differently if he didn't get that one in 84, honestly. Sure. And then Guy Lewis at Houston, Pi Slamma Jamma, you mentioned them too. It's similar there. Only that Pi Slamma Jamma went to like 4 in a row or something and didn't win any, and they were the favorites in a couple of them too. But you don't hear Guy Lewis's name at all either. And then to flip this all the way back to towards the beginning of the pod, when we talked about how much luck is just involved in general of the tournament, it's like, man, it's hard as fuck to build a legacy in college basketball.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's insane, right?
Yeah. I think a national legacy. That's the thing. Like for us and like a national landscape, Billy Tubbs might not be. But if you go to Oklahoma and bring up that name, like he has a legacy there. Like that team is remembered and honored, and they're brought back. And I just think, like, sometimes it's the micro, again, kind of the Izzone thing. Like, he doesn't go like Coach K does, but it's not like if you go to Lansing, that guy's an absolute stone cold legend there.
It's the Lute Olson effect, right? Like Southwest,
yep.
You go Southwest, Lute Olson's an absolute legend. Here in the Midwest, he doesn't get talked about a ton, but he does. He does have that natty behind his name, so he has that one natty that just like verifies you across the thing.
Yeah,
and,
that does.
You need OT to beat Kentucky, and if that doesn't go the right way, then Kentucky's has a 3-peat, and Lute Olson's remembered as the guy that couldn't get it done and went to a bunch of Final Fours but could never win. Like, it's just so fickle, man. It's like, I think about that all the time, of how different, and it's life-changing too. Their lives could be completely different depending on if they win certain games at certain times or not. It's crazy.
Matt, I got a question for you as the young guy on this podcast.
Of course.
Why do guys now get tired so easily? Well, what's the deal? Like, this team is running all the time, pressing the entire game. And they even talk about their condition, like that was their focus, is their conditioning, and now it's like these guys got to like load manage even in
Because
college.
I'm gonna take
sometimes.
this,
like,
man.
what
I'm
is
gonna take this.
happening?
No. Josh is gonna shit
No,
on
we
my
gotta let him in.
generation and be like, all these TikTok kids
him-
don't
let
have
him-
the
let him
attention
say-
span.
All I'm gonna say, it comes down to one simple thing: you cannot run practices without water breaks these days. Because if one kid dies, then everybody's screwed, and we would have.
Did not think it was going there.
How many practices did you have that they were like, no, we're not getting water? You know what I'm talking about, Meyer.
They did a lot. This is true, but I don't know.
100%.
I don't know that was the thing.
Well,
Bring it back. Bring it back.
litigation, yeah, litigation's a valid point, but also, well, I think it's also the importance of building muscle and being able to take hits and get in contact, and also the game is played so much faster. Like, newsflash, like games in the 90s and the 80s were not that fast compared to today. They don't place the emphasis on getting in transition. It took Phi Slamma Jamma to really bring the dunk to college basketball and make it fun to get out and run in transition, like what the Lakers did in the 80s with Showtime. And
this team's got 102 points a game, though. They're putting up 102 a game.
That's
Who's
because
doing that?
our generation knew how to shoot the basketball.
Yeah.
hold on,
These dudes
I'm
can't
gonna
shoot.
So here's what frustrates me about college basketball now, like my generation, is I hate seeing the guys that just like go out in transition, get on the break, and then they just try and like Euro step through two guys and try and take a contested layup. I'm like, bro, you literally had a dude wide open on the wing that you could have just kicked it out and got an open shot or at least reset. You don't gotta force it. But I mean, yeah, guys get tired, but I think that's just the pace of the game, getting in transition and taking hits so much that they're just exhausted by the end of it. And guys are picking
I do think
up.
that's a valid point. I've never thought of it that way before.
Have you?
Meyer
Yeah,
might,
like
Meyer
even
might
go-
disagree, but I do. There's a lot more possessions in today's game than there was. Like, I'll argue skill with you all the time, especially in a college basketball sense. And when I said our generation could shoot, I wasn't talking Curry and this great generation of shooters that we have in the NBA now. Like, those guys are phenomenal and better than any that our generation had. But college basketball in our generation, 80s, 90s, was a better product than what it is today.
I think it's just hard though. Like I mean I think there's something in that. Like it's not just them, and I can fall into this myself. Like we look for the easy way. So much of our lives have become easy and catered to, and I just think that a lot of these guys grow up and things are easy for them, and they're put in the right positions, which is a good thing in a lot of cases. But I think that some of these guys back in the day come through, and you put wind sprints in front of them, and they just do it. Like Billy Tubbs says, you guys are running wind sprints for an hour. No one would. I don't know that a coach would even do that. Or and you
with
don't
no
get
water
water.
break.
Right, exactly. But it's just like that. There is something that you build out of that. There maybe is a danger that coaches want to avoid too. Now, I don't know which is right. I just saying
the
that,
flip side of that,
some of
though,
those
is
teams
like,
are fun to watch.
with all the training and everything now, like the athletes are better today athletically. Like
That's
the
true.
bodies are bigger and faster.
Yeah,
and
like
stronger.
like the NFL Combine's going on like right now. Like if you get these kids in like a vertical jump contest or something like that, or a 40-yard dash, they'll do much better. But I agree with you guys that like now, because of like training and all this stuff and the catering, because of social media and AAU tournaments and all this shit, kids aren't pushed mentally like they used to, where you wouldn't get water breaks or you would just run until you're done. And the coaches realize that the players have more power than them most of the time, so they're not going to try and piss off the players. And so it's just this weird cause and effect situation.
That's a very good point. There's a very good point. You have to be – there aren't too many guys coaching now in college that wouldn't be considered player coaches, because I think you have to be now.
You have to, yeah.
And when you have to be that, it's harder, I think, or it blurs the lines when you have to get in somebody's ass, too, because then you have to worry about, are they going to transfer, or, what's their mom going to say, da-da-da-da-da-da. It's a different era in that. And I'm not saying that, like, guys like Bill Self don't get in their players' asses. They do. But probably
Bill
not
Self,
to the,
that's the difference, is that Bill Self has the resume to back up why he's getting up in your ass in the first place. Like a new coach can't come. It's like in the NFL. whenever a Belichick assistant leaves for a new team, he can't just go into his new team and be like the Patriot way and all this shit because he hasn't won anything. And the players are going to be like,
I don't
fuck
know.
you.
I think maybe that's the thing to do for coaches because, the NBA coach, Ime Udoka, came into the Celtics this year, and they started the year off like dog crap, and then he got into them, and they look awesome now. Like, he was calling guys out left and right.
It wasn't just Udoka, though. Like, Marcus Smart was calling out Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the media.
You're right.
I think you guys are missing the point. That guy has clout because he married Nia Long. So whatever dude,
Josh, yes.
Whatever that dude says, like, I'm gonna do. I'm like, you pulled Nia Long, you must know something about something.
He's got sorcery somewhere. But yeah, and with the Celtics, I think they were more open to getting pushed because Jason Tatum's talked about this a lot, where he's like, oh shit, it's already 6-7 years in the league, and I'm already looking at my championship window closing. So like, it's a situation by situation basis, and like, Matt Patricia can't go into Detroit and try and install the Patriot way and expect those guys to be warm to it. So it really just depends on the situation. But last little segment here, and one, which is we kind of have.
Wait a second, I didn't get a chance to say my shit.
Fine, go ahead. I thought you were done with Nia Long. Sorry, I thought you were busy thinking about other things. Go ahead.
Well, close. The two loves of my childhood, Nia Long and Randolph Childress. We got to show some love to Randolph Childress. Have you guys been watching the ACC tournament, the series that they're doing on it? It's like a 10-part series about the eight.
Nope, not at all.
What is wrong with you guys, man?
Was it on ACC Network?
Educate us, yeah. Bring us.
The ACC Network's doing a 10-part.
Oh, that's why.
Series.
It's the ACC Network. I'm not going to the ACC Network. Sorry.
They don't even have that at Penn State?
I'm in college. I still got to pay for certain things. No, I can't afford
I'll
it.
give you all my YouTube TV user shit. So it's in my library.
I think Josh, you could get in trouble for that now. It's a public platform here.
Meyer, like, I give a shit. Nobody's listening. Do you know how many
Josh
people
Barnett
have my
arrested on YouTube TV
Do you know
subscription fraud?
Dude, so
I just
I
got
log
done
into
reading that Merle code black market. We don't want a black market situation.
I log into my YouTube TV everywhere I go. So we went on vacation like 2 years ago, and then we went back to the same place just recently. And I turned on the fucking TV and clicked on YouTube TV, and the 99 little icon popped up. It had been logged in for 2 years, dude, since the last time I went down there. So I don't think that they really care that much.
Probably all right. Yeah, YouTube's.
Anyways,
they're doing all right. Yeah. So
ACC Network's doing a 10-part series, docu-series on the creation of the ACC tournament because it was the first conference that had a conference tournament, and I've just been waiting for because they do it by decades basically. So the one that has Randolph Childress was 90 to 97, and I've been waiting forever for that because I'm obsessed with Randolph Childress, but they give him probably about 15 to 20 minutes of the episode about his run in 94-95 where he just goes ape shit and destroys the ACC scoring mark for the ACC tournament, drops 40 on Duke, another 30 plus on UNC, including the game winner, and then he hits McGinnis with that little crossover and tells his ass to get up. And then he's in the documentary. I didn't know this. Him and McGinnis had past history. That's why he did it. And so after he saw him fall down, like McGinnis, UNC had beat Wake earlier in the year at Wake, and McGinnis to the press said, if you keep the game close, we'll pull it out in the end, or Wake will fold. And Randolph Childress looks at the camera, he's like, and I took that personally because everybody knows that I'm getting the ball at the end of the games. And so indirectly he was saying, like, Randolph Childress will choke at the end of the game if it's close. And he was like, so I took that personally. And he said, so when I hit him with that crossover, because that was in the first half that he did it. And he said, I hit him with that crossover, he fell down. I just told his ass to get up. And he was like, I was actually asking him to get up. I wanted him to come guard me again so I could cross his ass over again before I hit a three. And he said, Yeah, he goes if Stackhouse it doesn't start running towards me, he was like, I'm not even shooting that ball. I'm allowing him to get up and guard me again before I make the shot, which would have been incredible. He's like, but Stackhouse started running at me, so I hit the three, and the rest is kind of history. But I don't feel like Randolph Childress gets his due because he was a killer and he was amazing. That run in 94-95 was insane. But that's Duncan's sophomore year, I think. And he kind of like Tim Duncan kind of eclipses everything that Randolph Childress did for Wake with what he did in the NBA and all that stuff too. But for the young folk, if there's any young folk listening, go back and watch some film on Randolph Childress. That guy was flat nasty. Oh, so I made.